Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Jurassic World Rebirth release. You can see this time we've got ourselves another Captivz Dinorama with the Quetzalcoatlus, and this one looks super cool. And you know, just after having the Tyrannosaurus Rex version here up on the channel and seeing how cool that one was, I'm so excited for the rest of these. You can see over here on the side, basically like an advertisement for all three different sets. Here on the back, you can of course see what is included and the fact that we transform the cage into the scene. And then here on the other side, there's a shot of the Quetzalcoatlus, but we can't really see it because of the barcode there. But let's go ahead, pop this open, and check it out. So of course, once you open it up, you can now see that we again have that kind of like Jurassic Park cage, that raptor sort of cage. I think the sculpt is the same on this, definitely seems like it, but obviously it's a different color. The T-Rex one was green, this one has more of a tan, and of course that's because this one's going to kind of replicate like the, you know, cliff scene and everything in Jurassic World Rebirth, so has more of like the rocky sort of a coloration to it. So I'm going to pop everything open here really quickly. It was a little confusing the last time as far as how I opened it. I think I had to push something in somewhere. I forget where, how I opened it. There we go. We've now popped it all open, and we can of course find the two bags inside. And what we have hidden in the bags would be, first of all, the one with the Jurassic logos all over it. That would be the Dinosaur, or in this case, the Pterosaur, because it is the Quetzalcoatlus. So there we go. One downside to these sets is the fact that you actually don't get a card with them, but you will get a card with the actual, you know, mainline versions of these. So definitely looking forward to seeing the cards, because I always love the cards in these sets. And then you have all of the other extras here inside the little other bag. And then of course the instructions, as well as all of the stickers that you will find in the set. Again, a whole bunch of different stuff to kind of put into our little Dinorama. So just like I did last time, we're going to go ahead, take a quick break so I can assemble this, and we'll come back and check it out. So we've got everything here applied as far as the stickers go. The entire, again, Dinorama is looking super cool. We also have all of the extras. So first of all, you can see a little extra piece of kind of like the, you know, rocky formation back here, sort of like the cliff kind of thing. And then you have some ruins here on the inside, which do look pretty cool. And they also have these really neat kind of like designs on them, definitely looking pretty much exactly as the entire area for the Quetzalcoatlus looks in the trailer. You also have this smaller section, which is pretty close to the same thing, except this little area here does have a greenish coloration added to it. And then, of course, you have like a light brown with a dark brown wash for the other areas. And you also have a nest, and the nest does have a really cool look to it as far as the actual nest itself. You can see, again, variations of browns and stuff. And then you have the eggs here within the nest, and the eggs are painted with a nice white tone of color. A little bit of extra paint there kind of ran down onto the nest, but that's just a really minor little nitpick. Overall, I think that looks really good. Of course, these all have the peg holes on the underside, so you can apply them to the actual Dinorama. And then we have the Quetzalcoatlus itself, and the Quetzalcoatlus here is actually pretty cool because you can see it's almost the same Quetzalcoatlus, I think, that we had previously, except we have a brand new head sculpt and everything to replicate the Rebirth version over the Dominion version. And you can see, again, the head sculpt looks really nice. You've got a nice orange there moving over the top of the beak with a striping there. You also have a light gray in the beak itself. We could see the nostrils sculpted out right there. You've got some browns as you move back further into the head. We can see like some orangish tones there circling around the eye painted with a yellow, given a black pupil. And then as you move back, you have some fairly vibrant kind of darker bluish tones, as well as some sort of off-whites that have been applied right there. You as well have an orange there in the throat of the Quetzalcoatlus. And then as you move down into the body, you of course pick up those light pycnofibers with different shades of browns as you move through. And then as you move down further, you can see the wings are painted with an orangish tone, but we do also have blues on the upper side. So again, a little variation of color as far as that goes. Again, you can see the pycnofibers focus as you move through the body, and of course the different variations of color with the darker tones. The Quetzalcoatlus is definitely really cool, but the only problem that I have with it is it's definitely warped. Actually, the pycnofibers, almost like feathers and everything, look way cooler on this side than they did on the first side for some reason. But it definitely has a really striking look as far as the Quetzalcoatlus goes. But it is really warped. You can see the wings are actually spread pretty far apart, which means it doesn't stand. So that's definitely a little bit of a problem. I keep kind of bending the wings in an attempt to get it to stay. And once you do so, it does stand, but it does quickly fall down. So obviously at some point I'm going to have to give this the little hot water, cold water trick so that I can, basically fix the wings, put them in the position I want them in, and then hopefully they'll stay. So I'm going to quickly assemble all of this, put this stuff on, and then we'll check out the finished product in just a moment. Also, just in case you wanted to see a comparison with the previous Quetzalcoatlus from Jurassic World Dominion with the Rebirth version, you can get a good feel for the two different head sculpts. Or you could if my camera would stop focusing on other stuff, but there you can see again the two different head sculpts for the Quetzalcoatlus looking really quite different in the new film compared to the old one. Also, you can see the head is straight forward on the new one, the head was turned on the older one, but the bodies themselves look pretty much the same. A little extra variation of color in the wings on the older one kind of made that look a little bit more realistic, but still fairly similar overall, at least as far as the sculpt and everything goes. Just this new one is a little warped. And I dropped it again. But again, it's definitely going to be a little bit of an issue to get it standing up here. However, we can't get it to because the wings keep bending. I have to do something about these wings. But you can get a quick feel for, again, what it looks like with the Quetzalcoatlus standing up there before it falls back down. So I just had to wedge the wings back there, and we do have the Quetzalcoatlus standing, at least for now, even if it looks a little unnatural. But you can see, again, it does look super cool, again, with the finished product. Definitely looking really neat. I wish the Quetzalcoatlus wasn't warped the way it is, but I can't see the hot water, cold water trick not fixing that, so it shouldn't be an issue for too long. However, again, super cool release from the Captivz line. Toy Monster International is absolutely killing it with these new releases. I think they look incredibly cool. And also, of course, once you have everything assembled, you can see here, moving back, we've got the pterosaurs. We actually have some pteranodon there flying around in the background there. You can also see more areas of the kind of cliff side and everything moving down. You can see how we have the eggs in the nest and everything. There's also some kind of broken ruins and stuff laying here, as well as some footprints on them. You can see some kind of a weapon that was dropped right there. As you move down, you have a little bit of almost like a cave right here. Again, some more ruins and stuff, some vegetation basically around that area. You've got some ropes down here, so obviously our humans were using those to climb up there. Another area here where you can kind of see some broken ruins and stuff. There's all sorts of cracks and stuff in the actual foundation here as you move through as well, which definitely helps to add a really cool look to it. And then down here you can kind of see some vines and stuff like that, definitely fitting that jungle theme. Very Indiana Jones-like as far as this set goes, of course, including a Quetzalcoatlus. Without a doubt, I highly recommend grabbing this set and adding it to your collection. Hopefully your Quetzalcoatlus won't come out warped like mine is, but either way, again, it's nothing that a little bit of a quick fix won't help. So definitely super cool. Make sure you pick this up when you can find it at Walmart. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.